decision that you made when it's really not. So it's because if you ask most people, they would say they didn't choose to be gay. They'll say that they are gay, but they didn't choose it. It's like, how do you control what you're attracted to? You know, I can wake up every day and say, I love women, I love women, I love women, I love women, I love women. And I believe that you can speak life and death into your situations and stuff. But there's a point where you have to realize reality too. There's like a fine balance between the two. You know, it's no different than, I want Nikki's water right here. Well, I'm not going to get it unless, you know, I can say it all day, but until I actually reach for it. So, some people would say, with that statement I just made, well, you know, you can say, yeah, you can try. Let me tell you something. Boo. I don't want no cootie. And I don't need none in order to know that I don't want no one.
But you have to want it. At the same time, you say, I want Nikki's water. You have to actively
want it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You have to want it. If you don't want it, it's not going to make it real.
So let me ask you a question. That's pretty good there.
Good.
But anyway.
Somebody had to drink it.
Okay, y'all trying to give this up. That's pretty good. But, okay, by the way, before we go into there, like I said, I'm from a small town in Tennessee. You can see that on my channel where I'm originally from. Very small town. Where are you originally from? Where did you grow up?
I'm glad you asked. Well, actually, that's why I wanted to ask you, because I grew up kind of like the polar opposite of the way that you grew up. You know, you're bringing like a whole, you know, different viewpoint also from being a gay male, and my experience with being a gay female is going to be completely different from you, even though we're both black. You know, it's accepted differently. Hush up now.
African American.
Hush up now. It's accepted and viewed differently, you know, on a certain level. But I grew up in the city, basically. You know, I was born in Chicago. I grew up in the suburbs of Illinois. You know, Waukegan, North Chicago, Zion Benton. You know, peace out to anybody who's going to school in Zion Benton. But I love that school. Anyway, side story. In my graduating class, there was 500 people. Just in my graduating class.
Girl, I don't think there was 500 people in our town.
There was 500 people in my class, and in my school it might have been around 2,000, you know, average or whatever. But still, it was a suburb of Chicago, and you know, it was vastly different. And you know, I recognized that I had gay feelings from like 5, 6 years old, and it wasn't that I was actively wanting to feel that way. I just felt that way. It was my first grade teacher, so I had to be in first grade. Or I had to be 6 years old. And her name was Miss McKinney. And she was so pretty. And at the time, you know, I was just like, oh my goodness, all that I knew at 6 years old was that I wanted her to come near me. I wanted her to be near me. And I just wanted her. Hush up now. I was 6. You pervert. But I knew that I wanted her. In my fantasies, I imagined her walking towards me. That was all I knew. I didn't know about kissing or anything like that. So that was all I knew, and I knew that I felt that way at that young age. And so I struggled with that my whole life. And you know, I always had those feelings even in high school, and I always used to explain them away. I don't know how you handled it, but you know, when I was in school, I kind of mixed it up and kind of tried to explain it away as I just admire that person. You know, it's not that I want to be with that person. I just like that person. I want to be like that person or something like that, and not that I actually desired that person, which is what it was. So it was just very hard for me, and I struggled with that my whole life. I didn't really get to a good place where I could accept it until I was a junior or senior in college.
For that long? Honey, I came out by that 12th grade year, honey. Because let me tell you, I had this crush on, I ain't gonna tell you because he might be watching. I had a crush on him, but if he hear this story, he'll know. I had a crush on that thing, right? So I tell my friend to start talking to him in class. So she starts talking to him, and that bitch starts fucking him. Oh, I was so mad.
Why did you tell her to start talking to him?
Because I was trying to ease, you know, I was trying to ease it on him.
You
know, I was trying to get her to kind of wing it so that he would, first of all, talk to me. I mean, he would talk. He was kind of a quiet guy. But he would talk, but I didn't know how to, I don't know why we do that. Why we always run to somebody else to try to break the ice for us.
It's just being chicken.
But even more so, it's even harder for me though, considering the fact that I was the gay guy. Mm-hmm. And if he was that close to me, people might start saying he's gay, even if we weren't doing nothing but friends. Cool
by
friends.
Association.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I really did want a girl. My pussy was moist for that boy. You hear me? But I'm glad we did never do nothing. But but even still, even sometimes to this day, ain't gonna lie, it made me wonder, like, was he ever interested? Mm-hmm. And the worst thing, to be honest, is when you go through your whole life growing up in a little bitty town to realize when you get older that somebody had an attraction to you. I can't. I almost would rather you not even tell me that. You know what I'm saying?
Because they could have made your whole existence a little bit easier.
Different. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know, that just hurt my little heart. No, but it does. It's almost like, dude, don't even tell me you used to like me back in the day. Mm-hmm. I really don't care no more. Mm-hmm. And then, because you start thinking like, wow, all this time I struggled with this, and that, I could have been okay, or I could have had somebody I could talk to, or maybe somebody I could have chilled with, or whatever. Because I'm going to tell you, when I went to the prom, Lord knows, I wanted so bad to have a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But child, if I had came to that prom with some nigga, child, they probably would have had that in the bottle bulletin.
It's funny, like, you always feel like you're the only one.
Yeah.
Like, in school, I felt like I was the only person who had those feelings, and that makes you feel even more isolated and just like there's something wrong with you. Because, why do you feel that way and nobody else seems to feel that way? What's wrong with you that makes you feel that way? And it took me up until I was like 20 or something like that to even get to a point where I accepted that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stepping on your feet.
Okay. I got big feet.
What else that mean?
I wear big shoes. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
I would like to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back and just change everything about life, whatever you wanted to change, would you still be a lesbian?
Of course. Shit. Yeah, I would. And that goes back to things being different for black females and black males and being gay. Y'all face a whole lot more violence, like threats of violence, rejection, because they're like, the viewpoint for, black gay males is, you ain't no man if you don't act a certain way and you blah blah blah. You ain't a real man. You know what I mean? But for like females, they view that as, ooh, that's hot.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because they see themselves getting in the middle of that. Exactly. Dudes see themselves like, ooh, two girls, I could get in the middle of that.
Two men.
But it isn't to the point, it's not until you get to that point where they realize that there's no room for them in between these two females, that's when they start getting threats of violence. When they recognize that there's no shot for them to have anything to do with that and get to live out their fantasies and their wildest dreams, it's when they realize that, because, Siobhan and I have faced that with it. It's, hey, girl, hey, can I get in the middle of y'all? And, when it's obvious that they can't, then it's like, oh, well, fuck you then, and blah, 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 and then it gets all angry.
Yikes.
You know what I mean? I'll be that. I'll be that. But no, I wouldn't change anything, and, I'm sure that it's a totally different viewpoint for gay males, but, I wouldn't really change much of anything about how I grew up, because it made me who I am right now. And to say that I would change anything is to reject who I am right now, and I love who I am right now. And I had to go through it. You so silly.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Get the
hell away. You gonna give me a hug,
They gonna put them man boobs on me. No man parts touching me.
You make me get touchy feely. I wanna cry. That's the feminine side coming out. Oh.
So silly. But no, I wouldn't change it, because I had to learn to cope with a lot of things, and honestly, it made me a strong person to have to go through all that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Me too.
Gay pride, bitch!
That's right!
You know